If Mac Jones is going to pull off another upset, he's going to have to do it shorthanded again. Plus, are the 49ers on the verge of trading for a new pass rusher? And Levin's hot takes, all coming up on today's Gold Standard Podcast. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard Podcast, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. That is Leven Black. It is Wednesday. Hi, Leven.
Do I look like Michelle?
Do you want me to answer that?
I think everybody knows the answer to that one.
True. Very true. How are you on this fine day?
I am Van Damme-tastic, to use a term that I loved when I was in high school.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but sure. Hello.
Van Damme-tastic. You're Jean-Claude Van Damme-tastic.
Ah, yes. A topical reference in 2025. Well done. Got a lot to talk about on today's show. Kyle Shanahan spoke from the podium today. We got some injury updates as well. And oh yeah, there's this tiny game against the Buccaneers that the 49ers have to get ready for, which could have seeding implications down the road. Will obviously have implications inside the NFC West, considering the 49ers have a nice little lead on everybody in the division. Let's get right to it first. We'll start with the injury report. If you're watching on the stream, you can see it now. It is huge. It's ridiculously lengthy. Now, luckily, some of the people on it are full participation, like Michael Williams, who apparently has a wrist and an oblique injury. Malik Mustafa, interesting enough, full participation. Thomas Morstead, didn't even know there was a problem there, but apparently he's got something up with his back, but he was a full participant. No Robert Beal, no Alfred Collins, who has a knee sprain. That's not fun. No Yetur Gross-Matos, no Jawan Jennings. Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams were resting. No Ricky Pearsall, no Brock Purdy, no Jordan Watkins. Your reaction?
FML.
I mean, damn, man. Jordan Watkins, I was just looking it up. Like, is this guy ever going to come back? Ever?
And that one is crazy. I mean, at this point, the expectations for him should be zero. Because he's a low-round rookie. If he comes in and does anything after all this time missed, it's a bonus. It should not be the expectation, like I think it was when he got injured, that he would come in and actually have a pretty good-sized role in the offense. Like, if he contributes at all, it's cool because it's kind of like the Ricky Pearsall situation last year for different reasons, but you got a rookie who has missed all of the important time to be able to develop, essentially. Like, you should not expect much from him.
I was looking at it. Jacob Cowing got hurt on August 24th, and they said it's a 6-week injury. Well, this is week number 6. And Jordan Watkins got hurt on September 18th. September 18th. He came back from injury, got hurt right away. We haven't seen him. It's closer to August 18th than September 18th. And I say that because Ricky Pearsall is not going to be able to play again. Mac Jones, who's probably going to be the starter, as Brock didn't practice again today, as I said, he's going to have to go up against the Bucs with the funky punch again. It's going to be Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Sky Moore and Kendrick Bourne and maybe Jawan Jennings.
It's not good. I mean, my expectations are not that high. It's on the road on top of it, and you're facing a good Bucs team, although I do think that they're kind of like the opposite of the 49ers in terms of 4-1 treatment. The Niners are 4-1 and teams, the reaction is kind of a shoulder shrug, like, yeah, but they're not that good. The Bucs, they're 4-1 and everybody's starting to crown them and say, wow, this is a dominant team. I saw a headline on ESPN before coming on saying the start to the season is changing people's opinion around the league about Mayfield. And it's like, how? He's playing the same as he always does. He's a really good quarterback. He's just not an elite quarterback. He has times when he's elite. He's good in the clutch because he doesn't get fazed by stuff, but it's not like he's playing out of his mind. It's not like he's playing at a new level. And these Bucs have squeaked by in a similar way that the Niners have. Like, they haven't looked dominant. They've just been basic. I don't want to say lucky, but I mean, you can make an argument the Niners are lucky to be 4-1, and you can make an argument that the Bucs are lucky to be 4-1. They have not exactly played like 4-1 teams, yet the Bucs are getting treatment as they're one of the elite teams in the league, and the Niners are getting treatment as an afterthought.
It's an interesting point because you're right. All 4 of the Bucs wins have come in the last minute of regulation. So I don't want to disparage them by saying squeaked by, but also they kind of have squeaked by. That's fair. And I agree with you. The 49ers kind of have too at certain points, but yeah, treat them the same. I think the Bucs are seen in a more favorable light because they've played a more difficult schedule, because everybody's played a more difficult schedule than the 49ers. And
the Niners opponents are 1 game over 500. Like, get rid of your preseason perceptions, and the Niners have played a pretty decent schedule to date.
Benali says the Bucs are viewed better because they have their starting quarterback, and Baker's playing incredible football right now. And I think people had higher expectations for the Bucs going into the season than they did for the 49ers. So when we have high expectations for you and your record is good, we just continue to hype you up.
Yeah, it's biased through they are who we thought they were, whereas the Niners are not. Right. Well, it's sort of confirmation bias kind of has more of a negative thing. Whereas I don't think it's wrong to think the Bucs are a really good team. I just think the Niners should be there. Like, I'm not saying that, yeah, the Niners aren't getting respect and that's deserved, but the Bucs should also not be getting respect. I don't think either team is among the elite, but I think both teams are right there in the running where, let's say they get Mike Evans back and they get the full force of that offense with Bucky Irving also back, maybe they could get to the elite level. Same with the 49ers. If they get a lot of these people back, they get Kittle and Purdy back at the same time, like, they could potentially reach that elite level. Now, the defensive line is starting to become a major worry in terms of that. Like, it's not all offense now. But the point is, both teams have played well, but they really are more like 3-2 teams, but they've been able to just squeak by, get to 4-1, and they both have the potential to actually play like elite teams. They just haven't quite yet, and a lot of it's due to injury.
Yeah, the Bucs are extremely banged up as well as the 49ers, as we just showed. Shout out to Oscar Alfaro, new YouTube channel member. You get double fist pump for you, Oscar. Thank you so much. If you want to become one, it's less than $3 a month. You can actually do it on your phone now, which is new. Thank you, YouTube, for finally hooking that up. People tend to watch this stuff on their phones. Anyway, I forgot the point I was going to make, but it was going to be really good and really smart. It was about the Buccaneers. Oh, yeah. So we talk about Mac Jones and we sit here and Brock's, injured. Kyle Shanahan said today he is not a candidate for IR, which is good. But also, I wonder.
Why not?
I wonder if part of that is Brock being like, do not put me on IR. Because if Mac starts to play good, Brock wants to be able to do something about it. And if he's on IR, he can't play for the next 4 weeks.
I mean, I made the hot take last week that Brock should have been put on IR and given 4 weeks. I believe that was the best path. I think the Niners are kind of looking at it as, well, it's kind of late. We don't want to make it 4 games now. Plus, like I said, they are running into how many people do you want to bring back from an IR issue, because they have Kittle, they have Ayuk eventually. I think Givens window was open now. So like you already have 3 and Mustafa. So you have 4 people already accounted for. What is the limit? 6, I believe. So do you want to make Purdy the 5th and be down to 1? I don't know that there's another strong candidate to return from IR at this point, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to have, a 4 to 6 week injury where you really want to IR them and you don't want to be hamstrung and not able to, because it means you couldn't return, especially if it's like on the defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. Those slots. I mean, God, the 49ers seem to run into this every year, that they run into their IR slot, like running out of IR slots and people they could bring back because they're just churning through injuries. But I do think that maybe that was part of it, that, like, let's just look at the 49ers schedule, right? The next 4 games is Tampa, obviously, Atlanta, Houston, and New York. If Mac Jones were to win like 2 or 3 of those games, all of a sudden, even the people that are saying there isn't a quarterback controversy would probably sit there and say, yeah, maybe there is a little bit. Like, why are you going to take this guy out when he keeps winning games? And I do wonder, look, Brock rushed back from his career-saving surgery before his arm was even close to healthy.
Yeah.
He was rehabbing through Thanksgiving by his own admission, but he didn't want to give anybody else a chance to take that starting job. Now it's a little different now because he has the contract, but I don't think his mentality is different.
No, Brock is the type of guy, he doesn't want anybody, he doesn't want to give up anything to anybody. Like, he does not want to open that door even a little.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do think that, let's say Mac plays the next 2 weeks and they win both. So now he's 5-0 as a starter this year. And even like good but not great numbers. If he has like 4 touchdowns and no more interceptions, what would he be? 5-0 with 10 touchdowns and 2 picks on the season? And if somebody's going that good, it does start to become a question of, do you really want to mess with this? I would still mess with it. I would still go back to Purdy. But I do think, like, yeah, you're starting to open that door a little bit to where I would say at that point, if Purdy comes in and he looks bad 2 weeks in a row, it's, you better figure this out in the first half next week, because otherwise we're putting Mac back in. We can't have you take this season down.
Well, Benali brings up a good point. They're not putting Purdy on IR unless they're confident in Mac for a month, but play on the field and also his health. That's the thing. We may never get to a full-blown quarterback controversy this season, Leven, because they may just alternate who's healthy enough to play that week, right? Mac is limited. He's out there. He's got the knee brace. He seemingly gets banged up every week. We could legitimately be in a situation where he plays against the Bucs, guts through it, but then he's so banged up, and Brock's been sitting out for 3 weeks, whatever it is. He's healthy enough to go, just like he was against Jacksonville. He's the healthier quarterback, and so he plays. And they may literally just end up trading off just because neither one of them can ever get back to 100% fully healthy.
You know what probably is going to prove out to be the worst part in all of this? Sadly, turf toe doesn't go away. Once it happens, it's something that more people than not end up constantly having to bother them. So this is something we're looking forward to pretty much constantly with Brock Purdy for the rest of his career, potentially, where it's, ooh, his toe's hurting. He might be out a week or two, because like Torrey Holt retired from this. Obviously, yeah. Patrick Willis, we all know. Who'd you say?
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, when it flared up, I mean, he got a full career, but that is ultimately why he said he hung it up. He would have kept playing. But there's been a lot of players that have retired over this because they feel good. They don't have any pain. They go play on it again, and it immediately starts hurting again from, just one tackle. Like every game, they could not get through the game without re-entering it. And they end up just playing on it, and it hurts. It's from what, Patrick Willis talked about it a little bit. Like, it's just incredibly painful. Mm-hmm. And it never seems to get back to where it's unlikely to reoccur. It's always right there where the right tackle, and it flares up again. So that's probably, like, I can easily envision a year, 2 years from now where we're going, that damn turf toe. I hate this, because every single week is a question mark.
Wedge Antilles points out Patrick Mahomes had turf toe, and he seems to be playing fine. That is fair. I don't know how severe. I don't know the details of that injury, but that is a true statement.
But also, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, you know what I learned of all things from the Nickelodeon Slime show of week 4?
What?
Patrick Mahomes, for his entire career, has worn the same pair of red underwear, and he wears it until he loses. And then he changes it, and then he goes back to it when they get on a winning streak. That is disgusting. But you brought up Patrick Mahomes.
He washes it. I don't think
they said in it he does not wash it until they lose. And then he'll wash it, and he goes back to wearing it. But he's had the same pair of red underwear on for every single game in his career, and he won't wash it until they lose.
All right, that's a little weird. Not gonna lie, but maybe he can air it out, right? You wear it.
I was thinking, I was like, boy, you're wealthy, so you better have like a nice shed that underwear stays in throughout the week, because that would not come in my house.
When you're rich, you can have an underwear shed. Alejandro Sandoval says, at this point, you cannot IR Purdy. Mac Jones gets hurt, and Martinez is your quarterback for the next 4 weeks. I don't even want to think of the worst case. I agree. I think that's definitely part of it too, because I think they think, well, if worse comes to worse, we can have Brock gut it out. Did you see, by the way, during that game, There was a minute where they cut to Adrian Martinez, and he looked terrified.
Yeah. Did you see after when Mac was back on the field? Big old smile on his face.
Right? Like, he looks like, oh my God, I might have to go in. Like, he did not look like he was going to be ready to go and do that.
Shanahan didn't exactly give him a vote of confidence in the presser either today.
Well, I mean, it's true. He hasn't been with the team that long. He probably doesn't know which way is up at that point. I liked Shanahan's response. They were like, how much of the playbook does he know? And Shanahan was like, well, we would have found out. Which is a good response. It's an honest response.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to find out, but like, he didn't just say you're going to find out. If he said that could be positive or negative, but he expanded on it. He went on to say he hasn't been with the team very long and he's not very experienced. Like, that tells you, no, I'm not very confident that he can handle it.
Well, that's why I asked Jason and Steph on Tuesday that we played Fact or Fiction. And one of the questions I asked was, do the 49ers need to add another quarterback? But the problem is, every quarterback that you add is going to be in the same boat as Adrian Martinez. Not with the team for a long time, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know the system. So I don't even know who you would add.
I mean, the guy that you could add with starting experience that supposedly learns the playbook in one day just got traded. So even that option's gone. Yeah, supposedly Joe Flacco is capable of learning a playbook in like a day.
What's CJ Beathard up to? Is he alive?
He's still a free agent. I did go look, and I was shocked to see that he's 32 years old.
Damn.
In a month, he's 32 years old. I went to look, okay, who are the free agent quarterbacks that never signed this offseason? And he was the top one, and it listed his age. And I was like, wow,
he was the top one? Was the list alphabetical?
No, it's based on like I think it's like previous contract or projected. Like, he's the only one previous contract wasn't minimum, I think, that's available. There's not veterans who recently retired. You know what I mean? Like starting quarterbacks like a Matt Ryan back or a Phillip Rivers. There's not one of those out there. Like, there has not been here's somebody who was really good, got old, and they just retired. You might be able to get them off the couch.
Signing Guru's vacation tracker says Tanner Mordecai. I'm sure he's available. That's for damn sure. Do you think, and I know this is like way down the road, this is just pie in the sky. Do you think, like, let's say the 49ers got to a point where they're in the playoffs or they've locked up a playoff spot and they're like 10-2 and all of a sudden neither quarterback can play. Do you think there's any chance they call Tom Brady? That was a long pause. You're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I went back. My initial thought was, well, yeah, of course they would call. But then the second thought came in and didn't back it up. So I paused. Part of me says, yeah, they would. But part of me says, is that what you want to introduce? Because, okay, Tom Brady comes in and what, you're looking for a couple of weeks and then he goes to a backup? No, Tom Brady's only coming if you're saying it's your team. Go try to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And then you add in like the crazy distraction, the way that, all right, Brock's no longer the leader in that locker room because you got Tom Brady there overshadowing his leadership. You know what I mean? Like the logistics of it, when you think a little bit past the surface, doesn't make sense. Now, if Brock is on IR and done for the season and Mac is banged up and you don't know if he's going to be able to play, then I could see it. But as long as Purdy's not done for season, I can't see it. It would be hilarious, though, to see Brady come in to start over Mac Jones, the guy who replaced him in New England.
Yeah, that would be funny. And I forgot. I apologize. I forgot about the Raiders owner. He can't be on the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot because he's still calling games for Fox, which, by the way, if he was on the 49ers, they'd probably still let him call games for Fox and go to the damn production meetings. But I forgot about the Raiders thing. I apologize. That's my bad. Should never have brought it up. My bad. It just popped into my head because I remember that the Niners were going to go after Phillip Rivers if they had made the Super Bowl in 2022 with Brock Purdy being hurt and they were basically done with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I was thinking about like retired quarterbacks who potentially could still do it. And Brady's doesn't seem to age. So, I don't know. It just popped into my head.
That's literally like That's why I went to look, okay, who are the free agent quarterbacks that didn't sign? And there's not like a guy who has 5+ years of starting experience out there.
Yeah, there's not anybody. How about, I know a quarterback that is not retired that knows the 49ers system.
Oh, knows the 49ers system?
Yep.
Or just
Who am I
knows the
thinking of?
franchise well?
Nope. Who's intimately familiar with the 49ers system.
Drawing a blank. Don't know.
He plays for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh.
Say his name.
When you said Los Angeles, I thought you were going with the Rams and Jimmy Garoppolo.
I was not. I was going for.
Yes, you're talking Trey Lance, yeah. Hey, he went, I think, 1 for 1 in mop-up duty the other day.
Oh, he actually got to play?
Yeah, I saw him in the box score. I was like, he threw a pass? That's weird.
Can you imagine? Like, that would never happen. I'm just throwing it out there for the joke, but can you imagine how nuts that would be if the 49ers traded back for Trey Lance to replace Mac Jones, who replaced Brock Purdy, who replaced Trey Lance?
Yeah, no, thank you.
That would be hilarious. But yeah, this quarterback situation, I think, is a lot more tenuous, than where people are talking about right now. We just assume that Mac's going to be good to go and that he can last the full game, which is like,
there is the guy. I'm drawing a blank on him. You just made me think of him because you mentioned the Chargers, which is who he went to become a starter with. After some time, he was somebody that I wanted signed at one point as our backup, but he was the start. He's the one that got the needle put in the wrong spot, and that's what got him hurt. And then he got replaced and never got a starting gig back. He's a backup currently. Yeah, he had to play a couple of weeks ago. I saw him come in a game. So he would be somebody that I would be looking for. Like, all right, here's a 6th round pick. Give us your backup quarterback because we need depth.
Yeah, I don't know. I
gotta look up where he is because it's bugging the heck out of me. I literally watched the game that he came into, and now I can't remember where he's at.
Yeah, no, it's not the Giants, is it? I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, the backup quarterback thing is a dicey situation.
He's with the Jets. So yeah, they got nothing to lose.
And it's a situation where we may be alternating between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy the entire season. Or it could be a situation where Brock is sitting out trying to get healthy and Mac is playing and Mac is great, but then he gets too hurt and then Brock just has to come back. Like, it's going to be a roller coaster, I think, the rest of the way. But now he says they worked out Mike White. I didn't actually see that. Did they? If they did, I apologize. I didn't see that. I would certainly feel better about Mike White than Adrian Martinez. I just would.
Yeah. I would rather go get whoever you get, is not going to be able to execute the offense. So just go sign somebody that's highly athletic. So at least maybe they can get a couple scrambles. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I liked the Pasternaut as the backup, because like, he's not the greatest at reading the defense. He might turn the ball over, but he also makes some great plays because he can run and he's not scared to try to bomb it 50 yards deep.
He also is super smart and probably could learn the playbook in a day. So,
well, I mean, he knows the playbook. He was here as the backup a couple of years ago.
So anyway, that's the quarterback situation. I know that, people want to talk quarterback controversy, and I understand why they want to talk quarterback controversy. I'm not. Mac Jones has played well enough for the team to win, and he's certainly played better than I thought he was going to play, and he is not turning the ball over, which is a huge, huge plus. I don't think he's played super great, honestly. I think he's thrown the ball a bunch. He's protected the ball. He's done everything you want your backup quarterback to do. I am totally with you. When Brock's healthy, you go right back to him. I absolutely would.
The thing that I want to see out of Mac before I would even entertain the thought of staying with him is watch a game where the game plan just is not working.
Exactly.
Because that's always when he's had his problems. He's always been a good quarterback up until when Belichick destroyed his confidence, but he was a good quarterback when things were going right, and he wouldn't necessarily piss the bed, but close to it when things were not going well. So I want to see a game where things are not going well for him, and then he rebounds and makes, the drive at the end, or, to show like, hey, I can have things go bad for me and I don't fall apart.
He and the 49ers have done a great job of controlling the games. He has not been down very much. I think the most Mac Jones has been down has been 3 points so far, which is part of that is to his credit, right? Because you keep scoring, so you're never losing. But also, the game script has largely been in his favor or never tilted really against him. So that is something that we haven't seen. And plus, Brock Purdy has the mobility factor, which sometimes you need a guy to just pull a rabbit out of his hat. And Brock is certainly better at that than Mac Jones. I would argue Mac Jones has been better in 2-minute situations. And like I said, protecting the football. If we could just smash them together to form one complete quarterback, Leven, then we would really have something.
You take Mac Jones' arm off of Purdy or off of Mac Jones and put it on Purdy, you got an elite quarterback.
The frustrating thing with me is Brock. It's like, dude, it's so obvious what you need to do. Like, and you have yourself have said it. So that is the frustrating thing, is that he can talk a good game, but he can't back it up. But we've seen him play like that before. That's the other frustrating part of it, is not just like this hypothetical thing that he needs to do. He did the thing. In 2022, he did the thing. In 2023, he did the thing. He's not doing it anymore. So that is just adding an extra layer of all of this. And look, I think the fact that he hasn't been able to practice very much or consistently, and the people that he's practicing with has shifted in and out, that all works against his greatest skill, which is knowing where and when you're going to be somewhere. He hasn't had that. And let's be honest too, Mac has played some of the easier defenses on the 49ers schedule. Brock played the Jags defense, which has looked phenomenal this year. And he's played Seattle's defense, which also looks really good, even though Baker kicked the hell out of them last week. Seattle on the whole this year has been very good.
And yes, for the people in the comments, he's meaning take the check down. You never quite actually said it, but if you've watched our shows, you know darn well what it is, because I'm sure you talk about it every show, because you certainly do with me. And it's rightfully so. But all those people being out and Brock being out is all the more reason to take the check down. If you're playing with a bunch of wide receivers you don't have a lot of experience with, you can't trust their timing. When they're doing that deep out route, you can't trust, all right, because you have to throw that before they make their cut. Like as they're starting to make their cut, it has to be an anticipation throw. So if you can't trust their timing because you haven't had much time with them, that's all the more reason to play it safe and keep checking it down until they take it away.
So let's turn the page to the Buccaneers here, Leven. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's have a little fun. Let's have a little levity on the program. Before we turn the page to the Buccaneers, let's get to the new segment of the show that is sweeping the nation. We call it Leven's Hot Takes.
Leven's Hot Takes.
I don't know if that was alliteration when you said Leven's Hot Takes and then played the audio that says Leven's Hot Takes. Jeez. Scrubs, I tell you, with these hosts these days.
Can we get to the takes instead of your opinions on me, please?
No. That maybe that is my hot take. How about that? All right. Hot take number 1.
Regretting this already.
I had to adjust this hot take because of stuff that happened yesterday in the NFL. I had written down that the 49ers should trade for Owe from Baltimore a 3rd-round pick. Well, he got traded for a safety and 5th-round pick instead. So he's off the board. So what this is they need to trade for one of the following defensive ends ASAP, pay what it costs, because this market is going to dry up and you need to get somebody. You cannot make it through the season with what you got. The guys that I have written down, and I'll give you the cost, and then you can weigh in on preferences.
Oh, great. I can weigh in on the show. Thank you. Go ahead.
Are you bitter?
Not yet.
Jermaine Johnson of the Jets, and I would say it costs a 3rd and a 6th because they still have the 5th-year option next year, which they did pick up prior to the year. So you're getting a year and a half of them. But it's also, when he leaves, they're likely going to get a 3rd-round comp pick. So you got to do more than a 3rd. Now, the reasons why the Jets would do it is, 1, they're out of it. 2, he's coming off an Achilles tear, and he hasn't quite returned to form yet. But he had that Pro Bowl season with Robert Saleh as his head coach. Second one, Cam Jordan. If he is willing to leave the Saints, and I think it's 100% up to him, come chase a championship, I think he checks a lot of boxes. He's not a dominant player anymore, but he could be had cheap. I think he could be had for like a 6th round. Because if he's getting traded, he's only getting traded to a contender because Cam Jordan has the right to say, I don't want to go there. And so the Saints' ability and leverage is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I have Matthew Judon as the ultimate cheap guy. He is a situational pass rusher with the Dolphins, and I think he could be had for as little as possible. 7th round pick, or you're like, hey, we'll give you our 7th, you give us your 6th. He has, I think, 5 pressures on the season, just pass rushing situationally. I don't like that one much, but it might be all that's there. And I'll say this, that if you get him as a situational pass rusher, you're getting to then rotate Michael Williams to the inside on pass rushing at least. So there is more of a benefit there than just a guy who plays 15 snaps a game. And then the other 2 takes convincing the team because they're not ready to call it quits. That is the obvious one in Trey Hendrickson, which I do think it would take like a 2nd and a 5th. The Bengals obviously aren't calling it quits. They just traded for Joe Flacco. The other one's Dante Fowler. He's on a 1-year deal with the Cowboys. He had 10 and a half sacks with Washington last year, but he's older and he's on a 1-year deal. So if the Cowboys are looking at it and saying, we're not going for a Super Bowl this year, then go get him for like a 4th round pick.
The problem is, I don't think Kyle views this team as a Super Bowl team. I don't think John does either. I don't think that going into the season, they clearly didn't. This was a transition year for them. They all but said it. They talked about how we're not going to talk about getting back to the Super Bowl this year because they knew they didn't have a realistic shot at it. So I don't think they think, well, if we just make one trade, then we're going to be okay and we can make a run at the Super Bowl. So I don't know that they view it with the urgency. Now, I think they're going to do something. I think they will do something. I think if they could get, like a Charles Omenihu type trade, that kind of move, that's what I'm expecting. But I don't think we're going to see Trey Hendrickson. I don't think we're going to see a Christian McCaffrey level move.
I don't either.
Because I don't think in their heart of heart, I think they're like, hey, we're winning. This is great. Let's see if we can keep doing it. But I don't think they believe that. Now, maybe by the time we get to the trade deadline, if they keep winning, they feel differently. Who knows? But as of today, I don't think they're in that boat.
Yeah, I don't see the Jermaine Johnson one happening because of the cost and the fact that, yeah, you have his 5th-year option next year at $13 million. That changes your budget. But I do like Cam Jordan. One, you can get him for the rest of the year. I do like the Dante Fowler one if you can convince the Cowboys to do it, because I think he's still a very good pass rusher, not quite elite, but he's still very good. And I don't mind. I think it's certainly better than nothing, but it might be enough too to do the Matthew Judon. Just because like I said, you're going to get 15 to 20 snaps out of him. That helps everybody else have a little bit more of a break. That helps you, he can play a little bit on 1st and 2nd down. You can kind of split between him and Huff because neither one of them are good at it anymore. So you might as well split them so that you can save Huff's energy for 3rd down. You know what I mean? And then you also get the benefit of having Judon and Huff on for 3rd down pass rushing so that Michael Williams can go to the inside.
Kyle was asked, does this feel a little bit like 2019 when he traded for Emmanuel Sanders? And I apologize for not having the audio, but Kyle said, quote, no, I don't feel at all like that. I think at the time we had a Super Bowl defense that was as good as anyone in the league and probably has been for like 10 years. And it was pretty obvious. And I thought at the time, some of our receivers we're dependent on weren't there, and we were playing some young rookies, and we thought we needed to add another guy. But yeah, I don't totally see it as the same situation right now. So that is him kind of saying, we ain't there. But like, also, did anybody really think in 2019 that the Niners had a Super Bowl roster? I don't think they did. I didn't.
No, going into the season, nobody thought that. And
right.
It took Deebo Samuel breaking 70-yard touchdowns every other week to change people's opinion. So I see that comment. It stood out to me in the press conference. And what it screamed to me was, Yeah, you're an offensive guy. You're an offensive head coach. You see that because on offense, you saw, I need a wide receiver to make my offense. You don't see it on defense because you just think, yeah, Salah will figure it out. You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's not, I'm making these play calls and they're not working because I just don't have the guy.
Well, and I didn't think, like, who looked at the Niners defense going into 2019 and thought this is a Super Bowl defense? Nobody thought that. Now they started the year 10-1 and they played like a Super Bowl defense. So again, I think his opinion on all this stuff can change if they were to keep winning, and especially if they were to get healthy while they kept winning, right? It's one thing to win like they did last week when you had nobody there and you gutted it out against the Rams. But if you get Pearsall back and Kittle back and Mustafa's coming back now, who, by the way, had no injury designation, practiced in full today, right? And then you start winning, and maybe you start winning more handily, right? By maybe like a 10-point game or 2-score game, then all of a sudden your opinion changes if you're 8-2, right? Then maybe you're like, you know what? We got Salah. This defense is coming along. The young kids are starting to mature now. Maybe it does change. We'll see. But right now, I still feel like Kyle is in the got to see it to believe it stage, which is totally fair. So am I, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily blame them. The problem is the market's not going to wait on them.
Right.
I don't think.
And
so
sorry,
I think that I was going to say, so I think they have to move. That's the point of this topic, is that they can't wait and they don't want to be sitting there at the bye week after the trade deadline going, dang.
Right. And when I saw that move, I was like, all right, market's open now. Like, yeah, there are maybe some teams that aren't ready to fold up shop on the season, but clearly there are deals to be made out there. And I'm sure, to be fair, I'm not saying the Niners aren't doing their due diligence. I'm sure that they are. And we'll see literally any day now. We could get a little breaking news, little instant reaction podcast, perhaps, if a deal does get made. All right. What's Levin's hot take number 2?
Well, this one, maybe you've come around. It's related to one of last week, but it's a different reason now.
Wait.
Levin's hot takes.
Okay, go ahead.
I have Brian Robinson should be getting as many carries as Christian McCaffrey going forward.
God, are you out of your mind?
No.
Now that is a hot take.
I think people are stuck in the past. Now, you texted me a play of Christian McCaffrey making a terrible decision. He has no ball carrier vision. I don't know how far you went with it because we didn't keep talking about it and whether or not you agree with me that Christian McCaffrey can't see the freaking field right now, and that's half the problem with the run game. But allow me to spin this a little bit, because you think it's not just that Christian McCaffrey's playing like crap as a running back. Obviously, he's doing a lot in the passing game, but as a runner, he's crap right now. It's also because of the usage he's getting. If Christian McCaffrey is hurt in the playoffs, then all of this was pointless. You have to have him healthy in the playoffs to have any chance at anything. He has 130 touches this season, leads the league. It's 11 more touches than he had through 5 games in 2023. And in fact, he is on pace to have more than 100 touches more than in 2023. And in fact, he's on pace to have the 8th most touches of any running back ever in a season. You have to limit him. Yep. And at this point, he's not bringing anything in the run game anyways. So what are you losing? Brian Robinson is averaging almost a full yard per carry. Now, it's small sample size. I get it. But you're not losing anything because Christian McCaffrey can't run the ball right now anyways. So you might as well go to a split carry on early downs. And yes, Christian McCaffrey plays every third down. And then that's how you get a limit of him. And oh, by the way, it's not just the carries. He's also playing 84% of the snaps, which is higher than 2023. And it's the highest percentage he's had since 2019. They are massively overusing him. Now they've had to get these wins, but now you have the wiggle room. You need to start limiting him.
No, you don't. You don't have any wiggle room. What are we saving this guy for? We can't win without him. The whole offense is structured around him. Every time you take him off the field, you're saying, what are you losing? You're losing the threat that he poses and the influence that he has on the defense. That's what you're losing. That's why they never take him off the field. He's 29 years old. They can't do it without him. They have no shot without him. The reason they were able to beat the Rams without anybody is because he was still there. You can't get to where you want to go without him, so you can't save him. There is no point in saving him. Use him. Every
Do
snap.
you think he's going to hold up with when he's on pace for 442 touches?
We don't have a choice. We have to hope that he does. That's it. That's all. They have to use him. And even if they were to save him, what are you going to get? One more good year out of him anyway? He's going to be 30.
No, you get him in the playoffs. I don't care about next year. I care about having Christian McCaffrey in the playoffs and not having a Christian McCaffrey that's completely worn down in a shell of himself, more so than he's already starting to show this year with his running.
You're not going to get to the playoffs if you take him off the field for Brian freaking Robinson. You're not getting there. That's the diff. That's why I don't care. If I really thought they could get there, I'd be in agreement with you 1,000%, because they are using him. I mean, it's insane how much they're using him, but they have to. They don't have the horses right now. If Kittle comes back and Pearsall comes back and, the roster, they get some reinforcements, then I can get on board with this 100%. Then I'd be there with you. But as it stands right now, they don't have a choice.
Did you at least see what I was talking about when you rewatched the game about Christian McCaffrey going, oh, there's all this daylight over here. Let me go the other way.
So I texted Leven a picture, and it was a running play. And I'm very hesitant to do this. And this is why I didn't tweet about it publicly, because I know sometimes we can screenshot 1 second of a running play where it looks like there's a hole and the play is not designed to go there. And we're like, why didn't the running back run there? And it's like, well, because the play is not designed to go there. But the one I texted Leven, it was near the goal line. So I think they were like 3 yards away from the end zone. And Christian McCaffrey is getting the handoff. And there is a huge hole to the left. There is a center. Brendel is blocking somebody right up the middle. And there is a huge hole to the right. Now, I don't know the play call, so I don't know which way Christian McCaffrey was supposed to go. But when you are 3 yards away from the goal line, I would prefer that you take either the hole on the right or the hole on the left. On this particular play, Christian McCaffrey ran right up the middle into Jake Brendel and didn't take either one.
Right, and he almost definitely scores a touchdown if he took either one. And he had a similar play on the other goal line, meaning that drive right before the end of the game when they just did 3 yards and punted and trusted the defense to hold them to a field goal. He had a run, I think it was the second down run, where in front of him is one blocker, and he is blocking one defensive lineman who is leaning towards the inside. After that, there is nothing to the left side. The only thing to the left side is a single DB who is 5 yards to the left and 5 yards down the field. And they had, I think it was Kendrick Bourne. It was one of the wide receivers at a full sprint, already having his arms out, ready to start blocking that DB. All Christian McCaffrey had to do was take a small sidestep to the left, and instead he literally plowed into the offensive lineman, his own offensive lineman, directly in front of him, and got a no gain. It's like, what are you doing? It's like he's so fixated on just get to the line of scrimmage that he's not doing anything. He's literally just going, I'm going to run straight ahead no matter what's there.
We always talk about how a pass rush can mess with a quarterback, right? And mess with your timing and speed up a quarterback and cause them to negatively, it'll negatively affect their game. Well, maybe it's possible that, the run blocking has been really bad, but on the rare occasions when it's really good, McCaffrey's clock and his timing mechanism is so messed up that it's negatively affecting him. I saw this graphic from SF Data Niners. The Niners have the highest percentage of negative runs in the NFL at 16.55% of negative runs, most in the league. Now, in case you're wondering, the second worst are the Eagles, who everyone wants the 49ers to invest in their offensive line, just like the Eagles do, and they have the second highest, so take that for what it's worth. But maybe that's part of it, Leven. Maybe he's getting the ball and he's, getting contacted right away so often that on the rare occasions when something opens up, he's not being patient enough, or he's not seeing it because he's screwed up a little bit. That could be a thing.
Well, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. The offensive blocking on running has not been good.
No.
But that doesn't mean it's not good every play, like you said. Like, the run blocking has been atrocious. I haven't watched every team, but I have a hard time imagining another team that's been as bad as the Niners on run blocking. But that doesn't mean that Christian McCaffrey is only averaging 3.1 yards per play or per rush because of the offensive line. He is missing a lot of yards. He is not making anything extra happen. He's not even making what you would expect out of a running back. They talk about this being a one cut and go offense for running backs. He's not making the one cut. He's just going.
I certainly would like to see a change. I don't think this is the week it does, unfortunately, even though Tampa Bay is a little banged up. The Cabo Kid, YouTube channel member, says Leven is not wrong. Glad you said it, so I didn't have to. Cabo Kid, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know how long they can get by with this offense of Christian McCaffrey as basically a wide receiver and Mac Jones throwing to Kendrick freaking Bourne and Demarcus Robinson.
I would imagine that there will be, if it's only Kendrick Bourne again, there'll probably be turnovers in this game just because Kendrick Bourne, what he can do is limited, and now there's film, right? So now they're going to go out and say, we're just going to take away those routes, or we're going to jump those routes, because a lot of what Kendrick Bourne was running, I mean, the underneath, they ran twice, but that was more of like a gimmick play where he ran underneath and has blocking to the outside to go all the way across the field and go up the sideline. But he was running a lot of the intermediate outs and posts that this offense does feature a lot. But if you know nobody else is a threat, okay, have the safety jump those routes, and now you're really screwed.
Well, I don't know, though, because I like Mac's deep ball. I think he throws a pretty good deep ball. So if they do that, maybe there will be some opportunities deeper down the field where he could make stuff happen. He's not going to hesitate to let it rip. Like, that ain't a problem with Mac. He's got the confidence of a daytime burglar.
Yeah, it's the guy before him saw ghosts, and Mac Jones has risen from the dead.
Couple of things about the Bucs that I wrote down in our prep for today. Obviously, they have 4 wins in the final minute. All their wins have come by a combined 8 points, so they have not been blowing people out.
And the Niners are, 11 points?
Something like that.
It's like a combined 19 points.
It's very close. The Buccaneers offense is very good in the fourth quarter. Baker is maybe as good as anybody right now in the 2-minute drill. But their defense in the fourth quarter is terrible. They are 30th in fourth quarter EPA this season, and they have been outscored in the fourth quarter in every single win that they have had this season. They've given up 41 points in the fourth quarter. So while you don't want to let this game be close because they're so good at pulling out these close wins, if it is close, you're going to be able to move the ball in the fourth quarter against them. This is going to be another blood pressure, heart attack, cardiac game.
You know what the Bucs defense is great at? In fact, they're the best in the league at currently.
What?
Run defense.
Well, that's why
For the Niners to win, they're going to have success yet again passing. Like, you're not going to be able to win this game running the ball. They're not going to suddenly figure, like, I will be shocked if the Niners suddenly have the breakout run game this week.
That's what I just said that.
I know. I'm saying, like, that's the problem is I think you would have to be a fool to be confident going into a game saying, yeah, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne can do it again.
Right. Wedge Antilles says, Rob, the daytime is often the best time to steal from a house. Wedge, how would you know? Would be my question.
Okay, Wedge, you got to factor in that Rob works from home. He never leaves his house.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know when the best time to steal from somebody's house is.
When they're not home. When are people usually not home?
That's not information that I spend time thinking about. I'm just throwing that out there. By the way, you opened the show saying, do I look like Michelle? Clearly you don't, but you should want to be Michelle right now because she is on fire with her picks. And so am I with my picks, which we usually give out on Friday's show. That's when Michelle and I host. And if you want to listen to us and make some picks of your own, please do it with Sleeper. We have been correct 75% of the time with the picks this year. Now, I can't tell you it's going to last all season, but holy crap, are we on a heater right now? And sometimes you just got to take advantage of a streak, right? Just stick with it until we prove otherwise. And it's really easy. You just download the app. You pick higher or lower on a variety of stats. There's a million stats up there: touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, all that stuff. And you can get 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. So if you get your picks right, you can win big. And as you can see on the screen, for a limited time only, new users will get a free $20 entry. So if you haven't signed up yet, maybe you didn't believe in us early on in the season when we were making the picks. Well, we've proved it now, and you can get rewarded for your patience because you get a free $20 entry. And on top of that, if you use our promo code GSP, you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. So again, check out Sleeper, download the app. It's super easy. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Do you have any picks you want to make for the game on Sunday?
There will be interceptions on both sides. The Niners will get
And we
that
get
interception.
one, please. They only have one on the season. They have not given the ball away at all, to their credit. But Benali says we're overestimating Todd Bowles. He's played the 49ers the same way for 3 seasons, despite it never working for him. He's not
going to watch. Yeah.
Born on tape. Maybe he's lulling us into a false sense of security, Leven, and now he's going to go like Rocky and go switch stance and go right-handed.
Maybe Brady will share stuff with his former team. Get inside info.
Hey, Brady got his clock cleaned by Brock with the Bucs too. So, well, that was Brock's first start was against Brady.
Yeah, it was the handing off of the GOAT title, right?
The Bucs score 27 points a game. Do you think they hit 27 against Robert Saleh?
I will say yes. I think this game, if the Niners win, it's a shootout.
Interesting. I just can't see Mac getting in. I don't think he's got enough ammo. There's not enough bullets in the gun for Mac to be in a shootout.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the Niners' chances.
They have to keep it close. Like, this can't be a game where like the Niners punt and then Baker gets a touchdown and the Niners throw a pick and then the Bucs get back and they score a field goal and all of a sudden they're up 2 scores. Like, that's the exact game script you can't have if you're the 49ers, especially because they haven't gotten interceptions. Like, if you're down by multiple scores, the way you get back into the game is turnovers, and the Niners don't really generate a bunch of turnovers. So that is exactly what cannot happen if you're San Francisco.
Well, that's part of the thing with the Niners of why I say, yeah, they shouldn't be put in that elite. The amount of scripts that can lead to a victory for the 49ers is pretty limited right now. Like you said, they can't win coming back from a big deficit. They're not built for that. They can't necessarily like get up by 14 points and then just run the ball to get the clock going. Like, they can't run the ball. They're going to have to keep passing even if they're up and trying to run the clock. Like, they don't have a lot of ways of easily winning games. The way they win is the way that they have been winning. They just got to not make mistakes and then hope it breaks their way at the end. Like, they get the last possession or the right thing, they get the one defensive stop. But like you said, like, they can't come back by, oh, we got a bunch of turnovers. They can't come back by, oh, we got a special teams touchdown. They can't come back by, just dominating through the air, because if they eliminate the ability to run, even though the run hasn't been working, the Niners have still been running a lot. That's why Christian McCaffrey has a lot of touches in addition to the reception still. If they have to give up on the run, those wide receivers are not going to be able to get open. If they're able to drop back 7 guys into coverage, that pass game is going to go to a complete halt. They just don't have the horses.
Their path to victory, like you said, is very narrow. I agree with you. And that's the other part that's scary is, like, let's say the opposite game script happens, right? Just like last week, Niners go down, boom, touchdown. They hold the Bucs to 3 and out. Niners go down the field again, boom, touchdown. Because they can't run the ball, they're not going to be able to sit on a lead. Like, Kyle, if he's going to want to sit on a lead, is actually going to have to continue to play aggressive. He's going to have to go for, if it's 4th and 1, he's going to have to go for it again, like he has been, to his credit. But I'm saying even with a lead, he's going to have to do this stuff because the Niners are not going to be able to just sit on a lead and chew up the clock because they can't run.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure something out. Like, it is kind of the meme. They can't keep getting away with this because, like, they are winning despite a lot of things not going right, and it's because they have not been turning the ball over in these wins, and they've been able to find the passing game, getting yards. They have been clutch, and it's not just clutch in terms of, oh, they've been scoring in the fourth quarter and getting the game-winning drives, but it's been clutch, and they've been converting on third down a ton, and they're 6 of 8 on fourth down. Like, they are getting the ball to continue moving and then getting points by the skin of their teeth. That's why they've been having to go for it on fourth down a lot. But that's because they've been able to get to fourth downs that are like 4th and 2 frequently.
Yep. And I think that is the key too. I think Kyle, I need to give him like a nickname, Kyle 2.0 or whatever we want to call him. If it's 4th and 1, I think he's willing to go for it. 4th and 2, maybe. I actually think Eddie Piñeiro's 59-yard field goal makes Kyle less likely to go for it, because I think Kyle was like, oh, he didn't have that kind of leg. And now he's like, wait, he does? Somebody actually sent me a video of him making an 81-yard field goal in college, which it was like on a tee and there was no defense or anything. But
on a tee, worthless.
Yeah, I mean, they said it's something for the kicker update, which I thought was funny. But
yeah,
maybe
it's literally worthless. The amount of people they can make like an 80-yard field goal off a tee for a highlight reel.
Well, right, like when they kicked the ball off, or when they used to kick the ball off, they kicked it like the whole length of the field. So, like, yeah, we can see they can kick it far on a tee. But, like, does that make Kyle less aggressive? Because now he's like, well, Piñeiro's 11 for 11, and we could just kick a 58-yarder. Like, no, dude, keep going for it. And I hope he does.
I wonder if it's not just the kicking, but it's also the fact that the run game hasn't been working. So Kyle has this thought of, I got to get points any way I can get them, because a majority of my offense is not working right now. We have a chance to score here. I'm going for it.
Jay had a good rant, which I made a short of from Tuesday's show, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Like, Kyle is not getting enough credit for what he is doing this season. It is insane. It is not only the injuries, but the fact that their bread and butter, the running game, the thing that Kyle wants to do the most, not just like is slow or is off to a bad start. It's non-functional right now. And he has completely transitioned this offense. They are throwing it 40 times a game, which is the complete antithesis of everything that Kyle Shanahan has built his offense to be. He has completely changed it. He's doing it with nobody around him, and he's not getting any credit. And Steph said, and I think she's right, it's because people just expect it from Kyle Shanahan, because like, oh, he's a genius. So they don't give him, like, this is absurd. Look around the league. How'd the Ravens look without Lamar? How do the Dolphins look when Tua is not in? How do the Bengals look without Joe Burrow? Like, other teams' offenses grind to a halt when they have one injury, just an injury to their quarterback. And Kyle's out here throwing for 400 yards a game with nobody, and a running game that is utterly broken right now, and nobody's giving him credit. One of the things I like to do when the Niners win is listen to everybody else's podcast to see what they say, right? It's always nice to hear when your team wins. Nobody was even talking about the 49ers this week. Nobody, it was all, oh, the Rams are going to win on Thursday. That was all the previews. The next day, nothing. Like, that was one of the craziest, most ridiculous games of all time. If we were Rams content creators, we would have been killing Sean McVay for losing to that team. But no one says anything. We just expect it from Kyle Shanahan, and he is absolutely the coach of the year right now in my mind.
Yeah, I think he, at this point, has a massive lead on that as well. Like, he's got to be. He's doing it without pretty much everybody on the side of the field that he's the expert on, the side of the field that he's the play caller on. And yet, like you said, like, no, they're not dominating on offense, but they're doing enough. Like, when they need to control the ball, they're capable of controlling the ball. Like, even though the run game is not working, like I said, that it's like they're getting to 3rd and 8 and then they're converting, or they're at least getting into 4th and 2 where then they go for it and they convert that. Like, between 3rd and 4th down, they're converting. I think it's like 65% of the time. That's insane. That's how they're still winning. The defense is holding it together, and the offense is doing enough to get points on the board and give that defense a rest. Like, I will say this. I think it's both Kyle Shanahan is the runaway coach of the year currently, and Robert Saleh is the runaway assistant of the year.
The Niners are converting 45.7% of their third downs. That is fifth in the NFL. They've also converted 75% of their fourth downs. Now, they've only gone for it 8 times, but they have converted 75% of those. And the nice thing about those is it's not been a situation where it's like, well, they're down, so they have to go for it on fourth. Those are all elective fourth downs that they've gone for, and they've been generally good at it. But yeah, they're going to give it to Shane Steichen, because the way you win Coach of the Year is to win more games than we think you're going to win when the year starts.
Yeah, except for 2019, Kyle Shanahan didn't get it.
No, I know. He's never, it's insane that he has never gotten it. Going to the playoffs on a 10-game win streak with a third round or with a 7th round rookie quarterback, third stringer that never played. Nope, doesn't matter at all. We don't care. But they'll give it to Steichen, or they'll give it to Liam Cohen, especially because he beat Kyle Shanahan in their game, or they'll give it to, I don't know, somebody else, maybe Sean Payton if he keeps winning with the Broncos. I don't know. They won't give it to Kyle, though. They won't.
No. I mean, if they are the 1 seed, yeah, he'll get it. But if he's not the 1 seed, then it's going to be, all right, who did what we didn't expect? Doesn't matter the context. Like, they don't look at context. They go, what was that preseason expectation and how did it turn out? Well, most people predicted the Niners would be in the playoffs because of the schedule. So, like, if the Niners are sitting there as the 3 seed with even 12 wins, that's not that far off what their expectation was. It does not matter the context of the fact that they were without their quarterback and all their wide receivers and their tight end and everybody that we've talked about. They don't care about context when it comes to Coach of the Year. All they care about is there an obvious overachieving team that made the playoffs? If there is, there's your Coach of the Year. If there's not, pick one of the 1 seeds.
Yep, I agree. You know who's a sneaky candidate to win it is Mike Vrabel in New England. They already got the primetime win against the Bills, right? National TV audience. I definitely think that Vrabel could be a sneaky candidate. But I think what Kyle's doing is amazing. And I completely agree on Saleh also. He is absolutely cooking right now. They are so well coached. They are phenomenal in those critical situations. Like, I don't know if you watched the mic'd up that they had, that the 49ers put out. I think it was Jason Pinnock was mic'd up. On that final play against the Rams, I think it's Pinnock. Somebody says to Chase Lucas, hey, that C-gap's going to get on you quick. Like, they knew it. They knew exactly what was coming, and they stuffed it. They were all over it. And situationally, their defense is great. In the first quarter, the Niners still haven't given up a point in the first quarter this season. We're a quarter of the way through. When they feel like they know what's coming in those critical spots, they are excellent at executing.
Yeah, it's actually one of my hot takes that I scratched just because there's really nothing to talk about when it comes to it. I was going to make a hot take joke and say Kyle Shanahan should start his defensive coordinator search now because he's going to need one next year.
Oh, Vish and I argued about that on Monday. I made a separate video that you can watch on YouTube. I don't think it's a given. Not because there won't be
Not a given.
Yeah, not because there won't be interest. There will certainly be interest. I think he's going to be pickier because he knows this is his last shot. And I think a lot of the jobs that are open kind of suck because they either don't have a quarterback or they have bad ownership. So I'm not saying it's a guarantee that he leaves. He may stick around. It depends. Depends which job's open.
I was going to say there's a couple ones that could open that are very intriguing. Does Zach Taylor survive if since he continues to just fall apart?
That was the one before the year that worried me the most, but Joe Burrow's also coming off a potentially season-ending surgery, so maybe there's some question, but I think he'd be willing to take the risk because I think he'd be like, I can fix the defense, and we have Joe freaking Burrow and all that talent on offense. That was the one that scared me, although Mike Brown does not like to pay his coaches money, and Robert Saleh is going to want a lot of money, but that's one. If the Ravens fire John Harbaugh, I think obviously with Lamar, you'd be stupid not to want to work with Lamar Jackson. That's definitely one that would scare me. But like, I don't know, like Miami, right? McDaniel will probably get fired. Do you think he wants to go there? Hell no.
He doesn't want to replace McDaniel. And the other one that I think could be somewhat intriguing, there's no way in heck for Saleh, is the Giants. He's not returning to the New York market. But if Jackson Dart looks like he's looked so far promising, then you go, okay, we have the quarterback, I think, to work with, and there's a couple other things there, like Kevin Thibodeau is there and stuff like that. Or Kevin Thibodeau. That to me, it's not a great head coaching opening, but it's an intriguing one there if Dart continues to look like he does currently.
Yeah, but there aren't many where I would like, yep, he definitely go. Like, I don't think
Carolina's. I'll say this: if Tennessee opens and Carolina opens, I'd rather have Tennessee because Carolina is stuck in the we drafted Bryce Young and we haven't moved on yet.
Yeah, Cam Ward. I don't know. It depends what he would think of him. That would be interesting. But I don't think it's a situation where there are that many jobs where he'd be like, yep, see ya, I'm gone. Because you got to overcome quarterback ownership situation, the money, because he's making a lot of money right now. And I also think he's having a ton of fun right now. Yeah. I know he wants to be a head coach again, but there is also part of him, I bet you, and he's sort of hinted at this in press conferences, that just loves just being a defensive coordinator again. Oh, the backup wide receivers' wives have it. Not my problem. I'm working on third downs. Like he just goes into his dark room, comes up with his game plans, and goes home. And he doesn't have to worry about all the other crap that comes with being a head coach. And I know he wants to again someday, but there's nothing he could do about it now. And I think he's enjoying the hell out of that.
I do think it's a bit of like a stress release going back to defensive coordinator for him. I think you can see that, like a weight was lifted off his shoulder. But I also think a lot of that is dealing with the New York being New York. And also, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The worst owner in sports right now might be the Jets owner.
Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
It's Johnson.
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name? Woody Johnson.
Woody Johnson, yeah.
Sorry. Woody. I couldn't think of Woody.
Yeah. Like Cowboys, Jerry Jones. It's between those two, I would say, as the worst owner in the NFL right now. Like Woody Johnson, Jerry is public, but he gets a lot of the criticism. Woody Johnson, like, that guy makes terrible decisions left and right. He makes brash decisions like the firing of Saleh in the first place because he got embarrassed in front of all his buddies in London. It's just, he is a terrible owner, but he doesn't get the blame like Jerry Jones does.
Right. I agree with you. I actually read an article from Mike Silver in The Athletic today. It was talking about the London games. What are you giggling at?
Comment.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Jay Cruz says, how convenient Rob can't think of Woody. Haha. That's what I said. That's why I was laughing about it. But I read an article by Mike Silver in The Athletic talking about how the London games are weird for teams. And apparently Robert Saleh, when the Jets went to London, wore the Lebanese flag because he's Lebanese. He's always done that. That was part of like the NFL's heritage thing. They let you put the flag on. He's always worn the Lebanese flag. But something had happened, and I don't know the details, so forgive me. There was an international incident of some kind. I don't know if it was a bombing or something that in some way involved Portugal, I guess. And apparently Woody Johnson was super mad at Robert Saleh for wearing the flag, and that may have contributed to how he got fired. Because remember, he got fired like week 3 or whatever it was, and everybody was like, whoa, where did this come from? And like some people are starting to think that maybe that was part of it, which just shows you Woody Johnson is a friggin' idiot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you can call that what you want. It's, to me, white privilege, American privilege. The U.S. bombs places every single day. So
I don't think it was a U.S. Like, I don't know the details.
You know what I mean? Like, the U.S. does as much bad stuff all over the place as any other country. Like, the U.S. does a lot of good, and they also do a lot of shady stuff.
My thing is like, if he's always like, it'd be one thing if he never wore it before and then wore it, and then you could at least sit down and have a conversation with him. But like, he's always worn it. It's always been there.
I mean, you know, Rich Eisen, he's not one to get overly critical, and he tries to walk that fine line of being the face of the NFL Network. He openly wondered, because I listened to the show immediately after it happened, and he announced that game in London, so he was there. And he met with him, and he saw Woody Johnson, and he saw who Woody Johnson was smoozing with. And it was a whole bunch of like big wigs and famous people, and he was showing off. And he said from going there every year, he knows that Woody Johnson is big on, because he's an ambassador over there. He loves to show off his team when they come. And so he felt that he was embarrassed that they lost in a game they were expected to win, that he was shocked that he got fired. And he flat said, I strongly wonder, and that's as far as Rich Eisen's going to go with that type of stuff. He says, I strongly wonder if this was a decision made because he got embarrassed in front of his buddies.
It wouldn't be the first time a billionaire did something stupid because they were embarrassed. I'll just leave that one there. And that's going to do it for this edition of the show. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard YouTube channel. Rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Network podcast feed, wherever you get your audio podcast. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you. We do appreciate it. 46% of our audience is new, so thank you. If you're new to the show, please keep watching. Give us another chance. I promise you we'll earn our time. Tomorrow, we're going to have a film breakdown on the channel. We're going to look at some of the pass rush issues. Me and, my God, why am I struggling with names today? Johnny Dell from the Johnny Dell Football Academy will be live 10 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube. We're going to do the NFC West mixtape tomorrow as well. Not sure if that's going to be live, but that'll be coming out as well. We do our picks show on Friday. Make sure you check that out. Me and Michelle Majuk do that one. So there's a ton on the channel for you. We like to call it a football buffet. There's something for everybody. Please give us a shot. We appreciate it. Leven, are you going to join me for the instant reaction show once again?
I mean, I took a vacation day for it, so I would hope so.
Sure. All right. That's what we need. That's the dedication we need. Call out of work to do the show.
Well, not call out. I took a vacation day Saturday and Sunday. I was taking Saturday for my kid's soccer game, and I have extra vacation I haven't used. I was like, you know what? If I'm taking Saturday off, why don't I just go ahead and take the weekend off? And that allows me to do the instant reaction too.
There you go. The whole weekend, baby. Now the game's at 4 p.m., so it'll be even more fun. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk tomorrow.